Hello people of YouTube, I'm the human commonly referred to as David, and this is The Life in Southern Nerd. Now, today's episode is going to be based around the entire Kingdom Hearts series. Now, here's a couple of things I have to point out before I start. I'm going to be going in the order of the story, not the order of release, so it may be a bit confusing, but by the end you'll understand what's going on, hopefully. Um, if I leave anything out, I'd like you to leave a comment below. Okay, now, the first one is Kingdom Hearts Birth My Sleep. It is set after a Keyblade War, I believe it was called. Now, the three main characters based around the story are Terra, Ventus, and Aqua. Aqua is the female of the three friends. Ventus has blonde hair, blue eyes, it spikes up. If any of you have played it, he looks like Roxas. I'll get to Roxas in a minute. So you guys, I don't understand. Now, what happens is, Terra and Aqua go for the Mark of Mastery exam to become Keyblade Masters. All three of the friends, mind you, wield Keyblades. Now, what happens is that Terra doesn't quite make it. So Terra, he kind of goes all evil and rogue and wields, and it's because he has the power of darkness. So eventually Master Xehanort takes him under his wing to try and teach him the darkness, which Xehanort's an evil guy. Then Ventus runs away to try and find Terra because he went off to, learn things about himself and eventually catches up to Terra. And Aqua has to try and find Ventus. So, yeah. Master Ericus is all of their teacher. However you want to pull it. All three of them are Master Ericus's pupils. Okay? Now, what ends up happening is they all meet up, then they kill the Heartless, then they split off again, then they meet up again at the Keyblade Graveyard, where Master, Master Xehanort and Vanitas is. Now, Vanitas comes from Ventus. Now, Ventus is the chosen one. He can make the that key, or whatever blade. It's like a Roman symbol or something like that. It's like key or something. Anyway, I digress. Now, what has to happen is that within Ventus, he has to have the light and darkness collide or whatever to make it. And what that would do is start the second Keyblade War, which you don't really want to happen, but that's what Xehanort's trying to do. So eventually, they make the Keyblade, and then Aqua has to take the body afterwards. Anyway, I know that sounds confusing, but I'll come back to it. Now, what happens is that Xehanort takes over Terra, his body. So Master Xehanort, being a really old guy, takes over the young guy, and then they form Xehanort, who I'll just go back. He's Xehanort, just Xehanort, not Master Xehanort. Anyway, then what happens is that after the battle, Ventus and Vanitas fight. No, that is the battle. Ventus and Vanitas fight and then make the Keyblade, which, is just basically Ventus, who is being controlled by Vanitas, who is a lot like Sora. Get to him in a sec. Then after the battle, Aqua has to take, it's Ventus. She has to take Ventus back to the castle which they started in. That's their main battleground. Home. Master Ericus had died because of Terra having to have killed him off under Master Xehanort's plan of having Master Ericus have to kill Ventus. Now that is confusing. You might want to rewind that or something. Anyway, uh, Sora, no, Ventus has to try, like he fights him to try and live, and ends up starting to dissipate or whatever. Then I think Terra comes in for the final blow. I can't remember that specifically. Now, what happens after that all happens? Um, Terra takes Ventus back to the castle and changes that to Castle Oblivion, which, yeah, you'll learn about that in a tick. Now, that's Birth by Sleep. Something happens afterwards. I didn't actually get to finish that. Apparently, Aqua fights Xehanort, the new one, but I can't remember. Anyway, then Kingdom Hearts 1 happens. Okay? Kingdom Hearts 1, Sora, Riku, and Kairi, the three main people. Now, throughout Birth by Sleep, the actual people, Terra, Aqua, and Ventus, along their journey, happen to run into the three, Sora, Riku, and Kairi. Now, they do the Keyblade ceremony, or whatever it is, to teach that, to give them the power of the Keyblade as well. So, yeah, that happens. Then they grow up a bit. Now, what happens is all three of them live on Destiny Island, which is a very awesome world. Okay. Now, what happens is one day, like they want to get off the island, so Riku explores the thing, and what the initial plan was to them to find a raft and then go to a different world. But one night Riku found the door to darkness and opened it, and then Sora manages to get the Keyblade, like summons it because of some weird shit that was happening with the day before. So yeah, then the world collapses and they get spread apart, and the game is basically them trying to come back together. Now, one thing that happens about halfway through the game is that Sora, oh shit, Sora wakes up in Traverse Town, okay, and he meets Donald and Goofy, who are trying to find the key, which King Mickey kept referring to because the key is the key to close off Kingdom Hearts. No, close off the darkness to stop taking over worlds. Now, they try and find King Mickey, and Sora has to try and find his friends. Now, what eventually happens is that after you go to a couple of worlds, you run into Rico at Hollow Bastion. What happens is he's been possessed by Maleficent, who is, well, she's off Sleeping Beauty, and she's a massive bitch. Now, she has, you know, she kind of introduced him to the darkness, and at the time, Riku was also possessed by Xehanort, who, I don't quite understand how it happened, but yeah, that's what happened. He got possessed by Xehanort, and Sora kicked his ass. Then, eventually, they go to the end of the worlds, and Sora, Goofy, and Donald have to fight Ansem, who is Xehanort, his Heartless. So, what happened was, okay, yeah, I'll get to why he's a Heartless and that later. It would probably help if I told you guys what a Heartless is. Now, a Heartless is a person who has been consumed by the darkness. Sora managed to get consumed by the darkness just before his fight with Riku, and then Kairi brought him back to being himself, and his heart got matched more together with Ventus. Now I've got to go, but this is part one. I'll do a part two directly afterwards. So yeah, I'll finish my thought. Sora becomes a Heartless, comes back, and he creates Roxas, who is his nobody. Now I've got to go, so keep on keeping on.